Welcome everybody to another episode of Art's Place. Today's vlog, I am doing something different. As you may or may not know, I was a stand-up comedian for 25 years and loved every minute of it. It gave me a whole new view of the world. Got to go to places I've never been before. Met some really awesome people that have really helped me shape my comedy and who I am. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a several part series on how to be a stand-up comic. So today I am going to talk about the basics of being a stand-up comic. Number one, what you want to do is pick a comedy club that has an open mic show and see if they have, well, if they have one, go watch a few shows so you can see other comedians on how they prepare themselves and see the responses of their material, their timing, and how the audience reacts. Alright, so let's get this underway. There are several books out there that are very helpful. The one that I have is Steve Allen's How to Be Funny. And this book really helped me out. And it not only covers stand-up comedy, but it covers a whole lot about the business, like constructing jokes by formula, instantaneous ad-lib, enriching the script with ad-libs off stage, writing monologues, sketches, and comedy essays, creating television satire in print, performing stand-up comedy, doing characterizations, television talk show comedy, and much more. This book has been very helpful for me. And there are other books out there, such as Judy Carter has a book out there on how to be a stand-up comic, and it goes through all the steps that you need to writing material, what you need to be a successful stand-up comedian. But before you do all of this, you're going to need material. And you're going to have to, the number one thing you need is a notebook. Notebook with a pen or pencil, and write down your jokes. And jokes are usually set up in two steps. Number one is the setup, and number two is the punchline. So once you set up a routine, you just, at first it could start out being a long, drawn-out thing. And then what you do is you go through and start condensing it to be a little tighter so that when you are on stage, you don't have so many words to memorize, so that the joke flows smoother. And you want your jokes to be fairly short so that you could go on to the next one. And also make your material to where it flows into one segment into another. But today we're just going to talk about the basics of getting started. And we'll talk about those other things later down the road. Number two, besides a notebook and writing utensil like a pen or pencil, You will need a recording device. One thing you could do, that is really handy, which they didn't have when I was starting out. Oh, by the way, I want to let you know I started doing stand-up comedy back in 1984, where the business was really starting to take off. Well, one of the things we have now they didn't have back then is a tiny video recording device. This is going to be really helpful because then you get not only hear the response of the audience, but you get to see exactly how you're performing that joke. Maybe a joke didn't work, you could watch the video, and maybe if you made a different gesture or even a facial expression could add to the joke and make it funny, or even funnier if it's already a good joke. But if you can't get a hold of that, get a digital audio recording device, because that's also helpful, because then you could listen to your set and hear if the jokes are getting the laughs, and if they're not getting laughs, then you take that joke out and set it aside, write more material. Maybe down the road, that joke that you wrote that didn't work, maybe you might figure another way to set it up to make it, work. And then, obviously you have to sign up for open mic, and that's how you're going to have to practice. And that in front of a live audience. You can practice at home by reading the material, going through it, and kind of visualize how the material is going to flow in your head. And take that material with you to the open mic show just prior to when you're going on stage. Go through it. Remember the jokes. And don't worry about getting it perfect the first time, because this is just your test run to see how your timing is on the material and how the audience responds. And you'll find out as you progress that once you advance from the open mic stage and start getting sets during the week, and that's where you'll get paid, you'll start to notice the differences in audiences. And it depends on even certain days and certain times of the year. You're going to get different responses from the audience. But we'll talk about that in a later segment. But for now, I just want to get you started. My experience has been, for the most part, very, very wonderful. Had a great time doing this, and it's just been a wonderful experience to me, and I think it will be a great experience for you too. So keep writing and get down to that comedy club, sign up, and make your way forward, and who knows how it'll go. If you don't succeed, you could do it as kind of a side job. If you have a full-time job and you want to do this on side to make a little bit of money on the side, or you just like being on stage, being funny, you could do that. I have a good friend of mine. He's a veterinarian. a very funny guy, and comes down, and he's a headliner at the local club here in Denver, and he does very well, and he's a very good guy. Dr. Kevin Fitzgerald is the one who I'm talking about. So I will let you go, and good luck, and best to you in the comedy world. See ya. Bye. And now scientists have found out that oat bran does not do anything to lower your cholesterol. However, it does exercise your colon. I'm thinking, great, now my colon could rip a phone book in half. And now for a demonstration